being a good salesman is very different than what you might think that it is. So that's what I want to talk about in today's video. I think this is a very important topic because I want to stress how important it is to be a good salesman, how important it actually is to be good at sales, especially in today's day and age, but how it's actually not this sort of, testosterone filled, over hyperbolized, exaggerated salesman guy that you might think that you have to be in order to be good at sales. You don't have to be this guy that's super jacked in a tight shirt who, dresses super nice and wears a lot of cologne maybe. And he's, got a firm handshake and he's that alpha dude who walks into the room and all of those things. I think the reason those things are equated to sales is because those things are, in a lot of ways, I think, synonymous with a high degree of confidence, right? And I think you don't need to be any sort of person. You don't need to be any specific person to be confident. In order to be confident, I think you need to be okay with who you are. And I think you need to be able to be authentic, right? And those things all go together, right? How confident you're going to come off in any given situation is, I think, dependent on how okay you are with yourself, how much you trust yourself as a person, how much do you trust that you are going to do the things that you say that you do, how much do you believe in the things that you do, the product that you have, right? How much do you believe in the thing that you are potentially trying to sell, right? Is it actually a good product? I'll get to that. Now here's the thing. I just made a video on being authentic, right? I think it's very important in today's day and age to be authentic on the internet when there's a lot of people who, I think sort of try to paint a certain type of picture for who they are online. They have a certain persona that they're trying to live up to, or a certain character they're trying to play. And I think that it's very refreshing and it helps you to stand out if you can be authentic. So this is part of the reason I make these videos. And I think as far as personal branding goes, right? If you're going to have a personal brand, which I've also made a video on this, I believe this is the most powerful thing you can do in today's day and age. If you're going to have a personal brand, you need to develop trust, right? That's the whole point of a brand in sales is that other people trust you. How are they going to trust you if you're not authentic, right? If you're not an authentic person. And again, those things are confidence, I believe, it goes hand in hand with that. How authentic of a person can you be? And again, how okay with yourself are you? Can you go into situations and speak confidently because you stand by what you're saying? You actually are what you say you are, right? Think of someone who you don't trust. This is a good kind of litmus test for this. Think of somebody who you feel like is a little bit shady, a little bit shifty, a little bit, they don't stand by their word. Their word is not law, and you feel like they might say things that they don't actually go and do, or they kind of talk a lot, but they don't actually follow through on the things that they say with action. Those people aren't as trustworthy, right? And naturally, they're probably not going to be as good of a salesman, because that's the whole point of this video is I'm talking about ultimately sales, right? Life is sales. So if you think you can bypass being a good salesman, right? You can't. Life is sales. Whether or not you have your own business, or whether or not you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a content creator, I'm guessing a lot of people watching this video are content creators, you need to become good at sales, but it's not like you need to do anything different. You need to just be authentically, unapologetically yourself. That is all you need to do. And then you just need to be a good person. That's all it is. I've talked about this before plenty of times. If you can be that breath of fresh air in a otherwise corporate, sort of, stiff, cold environment, if you could be that warm sort of breath of fresh air, like, hey, you're like the cool guy, you're the chill guy, like the meme, right? You're gonna stand out. And especially if you are just confident and authentically you, which again go hand in hand, you're gonna have no problem selling, right? Because all sales is developing trust, and people are going to trust you. Now, for example, I don't have a course right now, right? I've offered like a one-on-one service. Maybe if you're watching this, you've done a one-on-one with me. Maybe if that's something you're interested in, please let me know. I don't open them very often just because I've been busy with other work. And I don't really make too much money doing these. I do it mostly just to help people who want, editing help or feedback on their work or, business advice and stuff, right? I don't have a course right now, and I don't really try to capitalize on actually selling to my audience just yet, even though I have quite a larger audience on Instagram at this point. And I think if I did, I think I'd be very successful. And I think the reason for that is because people know that I am not full of it, because I'm just the work shows. This is one of the reasons I love videography. This is one of the reasons I love visual art, is because you can't lie. There's no misunderstanding. It's like, here is the final product. This is what I'm able to do. And, if I was, for example, going to sell a course, I would say, this is the type of work that I do. If you're interested in doing this type of work that I obviously do, here it is, watch it. Here's the proof that I do it. We can work together and I can help you get there, right? That would be all I would need to do if I was to sell a course, which is what I eventually will do, because people have asked me about it. And I won't need to really sell it that hard, because it's just, here's the thing, right? If you have a good product, I mentioned that earlier, if you have a good product, that's the first thing. Like that's really all you need, right? Because if you have a good product and you're confident in that product and you know that it's a good product, from there, you're not trying to do any special convincing with anybody, right? You wouldn't want to sell to someone who doesn't need your product, right? That's stupid anyway, right? I think any salesman would tell you that. You don't want to try and convince somebody who doesn't need the thing that you have to offer, that they need it, right? So if you're only talking about people who need your product, let's say you're a content creator, your product is, video production of some kind, you're only trying to, get in contact with people who are looking for that. Now, if they're looking for that, what would be the difference? What would be the only other factor as to why they would or would not go with you versus someone else? Well, it's just quality of the product. At the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. So this is where, probably the biggest thing I preach is just get good. Literally just get good. You don't actually need to learn any specific sales process. That's like the point of this video, is you just don't, there's I think people who tell you have to do this and that, or there's this new sales trick, or there's this tactic, or like, the reality is, in my opinion, and again, I'm just speaking from experience here, but I'm genuinely telling you this from my experience, you do not need to learn any of that stuff. If you think that you do, if you think you're doing something wrong in terms of sales, odds are your product isn't there. Odds are your product isn't there, or you just have zero contacts. You have zero network. You have no, you just don't know anybody. Nobody knows you. Nobody's seen your product. If it's good, and if it's good, it'll sell itself, right? And I think that I was in a scenario, 2023, the beginning of 2023, I was in a scenario where I believed that my product was there. And I just didn't have a very good network at the time. I was in that position. I really didn't know anybody, but I knew that I was going to have no issue. And I was confident enough to go into a business. I went into nightclubs when I moved to Chicago, and I said, hey, this is me not trying to be a salesman here. This is me just telling you I could make better videos than the videos you guys currently have. I looked at the videos of multiple different places in Chicago, and I said, hey, I am very confident that I could make better videos than you guys have. And if that's the case, and eventually it worked, and that was just one avenue that I took, right? There was other instances where I said, hey, look, I know that my product is better than the one that's there, or at least as good as the one that's there, and I'm just simply going to show you that. That's all I'm going to do. And If that's the mindset you have and you love creating enough, or if you're in a different industry, you just love what you do intrinsically enough to practice it and get really good at it, and then just go and kind of let people know that it's there. If your product's good enough, people will come straight to you. You won't need to sell them. And then from there, the sale is just being a good person. At the end of the day, it's just being a good communicator, which to me is, there's no special formula for that. That's almost common sense. I think it's less common nowadays, but just communicate effectively once your product is there, and be a good person, and you're gonna have no issues with sales. So that's all for this video. Thank you guys as always for watching. Yeah, if you made it this far and you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button for more videos like this. Let me know what other topics you want me to talk about in the comments below. Reach out to me on Instagram if you want to talk to me directly. That's all for now. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.